My crock pot ribs. I use the St. Louis cut for ribs because of the length of the bone and also their fact that they have a pretty good amount of meat on them. So I like them for cooking in the crock pot. First thing I'll do is I'll take them out of the package and I'll put them in the sink, turn them over, check for excess fat and cut that off, trim that off. And then I'll cut them into 3 bone sections. I find that it fits in the crock pot very well with the 3 bone sections. And I salt and pepper both sides of the ribs. After the salt and pepper is on them, they're ready to go into the oven. The oven is preheated to 400 degrees, and it's recommended that the ribs, you put them in the oven for 15 minutes. I generally do it for 17 minutes, or I really watch the color of the rib. When they get sort of tan, that's when I take them out. I don't want to rush them, and I actually turn them over while they're being cooked. So, but I want to make sure they're tan and brown on light brown on both sides, so that I know that they're ready to go in the crock pot. Okay, I've taken the ribs out of the oven, and now comes the part where I call assembling the ribs into the crock pot. I start with the larger ribs because the heat is greater at the bottom of the crock pot. That way they don't overcook and they won't get too tender and just kind of melt off the bone. You want it to fall off the bone after they're cooked, but you don't want them to fall apart when you're taking them out of the crock pot. So I start with the larger ones at the bottom. And what I do is I layer them. You'll notice I'll put a layer of sauce in over the first layer of ribs. Okay, and I do this with each layer. Now, I'm not going to show putting every layer in, but that is the top layer of the ribs in the pot, and it gets the final amount of the sauce, the barbecue sauce. And that's a 24-ounce mason jar. So that's about how much that the recipe will make. I actually make 2 jars at the same time, so that means that I could do 2 packages of ribs without having to make another jar for the second package. I keep them in the refrigerator and they do keep well. Of course, they're not in there that long because these ribs go fast. All right, they're now ready for the process of cooking in the crock pot. I generally cook them for anywhere between 6 and 8 hours. A lot of times they will come out at about 6.5 hours. You can also, near the end, stick a fork in there and see how they feel as far as being tender, whether you can pull them away from the bone. The ribs are cooked on low and I set it at 6 hours and 30 minutes. So it gives you plenty of time to watch and wait. Okay, they're ready to go. All right, we're at the end of about 6 hours and 30 minutes. Remove the top. The ribs are done. They look pretty good. I'll take them out. Now try to grab all 3 bones, but you don't want part of the rib to fall off. Remember, you've got 3 bones. Use your KitchenAid to reach across the entire set of ribs. Your tongs. Another thing I do after I get them into the pan, I allow them to cool pretty much, and then I will put them in saran wrap, and then put them in a Ziploc bag, and I freeze them. They do freeze well, and I actually think that freezing them also kind of enhances the seasonings that you have in the sauce that you use. I've done this quite often. I started doing it when I was in Kentucky, and I kind of brought it up here, and it's always a hit. So I think you'll enjoy them. And this is the last one. And the recipe I actually found in allrecipes.com a little while ago. So because I'm not sure whether that recipe may still be around, at the end of the video I have the recipe shown, and you can look at it, maybe screenshot it, and put it in your records. I think you're going to enjoy this, and the family will enjoy it. And you can also take it to cookouts, family gatherings, and I believe you'll enjoy the taste. And I can pretty much guarantee that it's a great way to fix ribs, and you have a lot of time to wait and do something else if you choose to. So that's how I do my crock pot ribs. I hope you enjoy them. I'm glad I'm able to share this with you. And until my next recipe, have a good time.